Listen, guys, Red Bull is quietly falling apart. Max Verstappen is escaping to the Nürburgring, and F1's own boss is warning the world champion to watch his words. Oh, and Ferrari? Their own team principal just admitted they're a huge step behind Mercedes.
It's very difficult because Mercedes is at a very high level, but
so we still got a gap to try and close, and we've not yet made a step to do that.
This is the most important week in F1 right now, and almost nobody is talking about it. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly where Formula One is headed, and we're breaking all of it down. Let's start at the green hell, because this weekend, Max Verstappen is back on the Nordschleife. This Saturday and Sunday, April 18th and 19th, Verstappen lines up for the ADAC 24H Nürburgring qualifiers with Mercedes-AMG Team Verstappen Racing. And before you get confused by the name, no, this weekend is not about qualifying for the 24-hour race. Think of it as the ultimate dress rehearsal. 2 4-hour races back-to-back. One on Saturday evening, where drivers get their first taste of the Nordschleife under the lights, one in Sunday in full daylight. Combined, that's 11 hours of valuable track time, and every single lap matters for what's coming in May. Why does this weekend matter so much? Because performing well here could directly earn Verstappen a spot in top qualifying 3 for the actual 24-hour race, essentially F1's Q3, but for the most brutal endurance race in the world. At the Nürburgring, starting position is everything. There's no safety car to bunch the field back up, so if you start at the back of 150 cars, yes, 150 cars on one track, good luck catching up. His co-driver this weekend is Lucas Auer, an Austrian driver and nephew of former F1 star Gerhard Berger. Here's a fun fact. Auer actually raced against Verstappen back in the 2014 European Formula 3 Championship. Now they're teammates chasing glory on the same circuit. You'll remember that last time out in NLS2, Verstappen and his team crossed the finish line over a minute ahead of the field, only to be disqualified for using one extra set of tires during qualifying. A costly mistake that had nothing to do with his pace. The team was simply testing tire compounds in cold conditions and paid a heavy price for it. This weekend, Team Verstappen Racing will want to put that right. And here's the bigger picture. The Saudi Arabian Grand Prix was canceled due to regional conflicts, which opened the door for Verstappen to be here. While other drivers are resting, Max Verstappen is doing laps around a 25-kilometer circuit in Germany, chasing a dream that has nothing to do with Formula One trophies. That tells you everything about where his head is right now.
He did the first stint, he'll do the last.
Al Fleming there stood alongside Max Verstappen watching his car. Mercedes 3 wide, is it going to be 4? Gounon trying to make it.
Track totally blocked ahead, he goes to the inside and there, and he manages to hang on.
Now let's talk about Red Bull, because the bleeding hasn't stopped. Newey gone, Wheatley gone, Marshall gone, Lambiase heading to McLaren by 2028. And now there's a new name in the rumor mill, Hannah Schmitz. Former Red Bull mechanic Kenny Handcomer said it straight on his podcast. Schmitz, Red Bull's head of race strategy, could be the next big name to walk out the door. His words were blunt. The decline of Red Bull is quite sad. If I were CEO, I would take a close look at this. All these important people are gone or leaving. And the rumors didn't stop there. Paddock whispers are linking her directly to Ferrari. If she leaves Red Bull, Ferrari is the destination. But Ferrari hit back fast. Their response? No active push, no plans, completely implausible rumor. Strong words, but we've all watched F1 long enough to know denials have a funny habit of becoming confirmations by the next race weekend. And here's the real point. Whether Schmitz goes to Ferrari, stays, or goes somewhere else entirely, the fact that we're even having this conversation says everything about how fragile Red Bull's internal structure looks right now.
We don't have to forget that. Now,
before we get into what F1's boss had to say, I want to read you a comment that a fan left because honestly, it nails the situation better than most analysis I've seen. He's hated many aspects of F1 for a long time, but when he liked his car, he was more willing to deal with it. He doesn't like the celebrity part of F1. He hates dealing with the press. He just wants to drive. If he were happier with the regulations and still in a non-competitive car, I think he'd still be vocal about not loving it and wanting to move on. And you know what? That's hard to argue with. Verstappen isn't performing for the cameras. He's not playing the media game. He genuinely just wants to race. And when the car is fast and the rules make sense to him, he's the happiest man on the grid. Right now, neither of those things is true. So F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali had to respond, and he did, diplomatically, but with a clear message.
GT3 racing is a balance of performance formula. Yes.
Don't ask me about balance of performance because you will find that someone that has to respect other champions.
Domenicali acknowledged that Verstappen has been vocal about the 2026 regulations and stressed that his voice absolutely matters. His exact message: Max is the best driver, a multiple world champion, and his voice has to be listened to. But, and this is important, he also knows his voice carries weight, and he needs to be aware of how some people can take it the wrong way. In other words, Max, you have power. Use it carefully. Now, someone asked Domenicali, what is even artificial about the current racing? And his reply was confident: an overtake is an overtake. He firmly defended what we're seeing on track under the 2026 rules, arguing the racing itself has been genuinely entertaining, with strong attendance and TV numbers backing that up. On qualifying, Domenicali acknowledged the new regulations have reshaped the Saturday format significantly. The energy management demands mean drivers can't always push flat out in qualifying the way fans expect. He confirmed that team principals will meet on April 20th to discuss potential adjustments, particularly around energy deployment, to ensure qualifying goes back to being about raw speed and bravery, not fuel saving. Let's close with Ferrari, because the Scuderia is going through it right now. Fred Vasseur has openly admitted that the SF26 is a huge step behind Mercedes, specifically in straight-line speed and energy deployment. The team is preparing key upgrade tests at Monza to try and close what is becoming an alarming gap. This is Ferrari's team principal admitting publicly that their car is fundamentally behind, not just a little off, but significantly. And then Charles Leclerc stepped in with a safety warning that nobody should ignore. Leclerc says the new regulations are creating dangerous scenarios in wheel-to-wheel racing. Drivers are being forced to change direction during energy management phases, and in a pack of cars traveling at high speed, that is a recipe for disaster. This isn't just a performance complaint. This is a safety conversation. Here's where I stand on all of this. F1 in 2026 feels like it's going through growing pains in real time, and the fans are watching every stumble. The rules shook up the order, but they've also brought genuine uncertainty about safety and competitive integrity. Verstappen heading to the Nürburgring every chance he gets isn't just about racing passion, it's a man reminding himself why he fell in love with motorsport in the first place. Red Bull losing Hannah Schmitz would be more damaging than most people realize. Strategy wins championships. Ask Mercedes from 2014 to 2021. And Ferrari, they need those Monza upgrades to work, because right now the gap to Mercedes is real, and Charles Leclerc deserves better than watching the championship disappear in the rearview mirror. This sport is at a crossroads, and everything happening this week, from the Nürburgring to Milton Keynes to Maranello, is pointing in the same direction. Change is coming, whether F1 is ready for it or not. If you made it this far, drop a comment below. Do you think Max eventually leaves F1 for endurance racing full-time? And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the Nürburgring race highlights this weekend. See you there.